hello. This is Math 12, Section 1.1, Descriptive and Inferential Statistics. So statistics, I'm going to talk about the statistic first, okay? So statistics is the science of the conducting the studies to collect and organize, summarize, analyze, and then draw the conclusions from the data. So since we have to talk about the statistics, and then in here we're using a variable. Okay, so what are the variable? The variable is a characteristic or attribute that can assume the different values. So that's what we're doing in statistics. So and then once you think about variables, and then we can collect the data. So data are the values, the measurement of observation that the variable can assume. The variable whose values are determined by the chance are called a random variable. A collection of the data value forms a data set. Each value in data set is called a data value or data. Population, that's the data. So a population consists of all subjects, which could be human or otherwise, that are being studied. When data are collected from every subject in the population, and it is called the census, which is but when you do when you are doing the population, and I mean it takes us so much time. Okay, so that's why we try to do the every 10 years, because the times and money, I think that's a lot. Okay, so instead of the population, number 4, we are using samples. So a sample is a group of the subject which represent to the population. Okay, so if the sample does not represent the population, that sample is not useful. All right, differentiating between the two branches of the statistic. So the body of the knowledge called the statistics is sometimes divided into two main areas, depending on how the data used. The two areas are, number 1 is descriptive statistic, which is a descriptive statistic consists of the collection, organization, summarization, and presentation of the data. In descriptive statistics, the statistician tries to describe the situation. So something that's described, not from the any assumptions, and that we call the descriptive statistic. But inferential statistics means you need to actually assume first. So this is what we think is gonna happen. Like coronavirus, people think about it as I think it's gonna be the more people can contagious. You can assume, right, with this kind of situation, and then you can kind of research about this. So inferential statistic consists of the generalization from the samples to population. So you always mention about the samples. You can find it. Performing the estimations and hypothesis test. Determining the relationship among the variables and making a prediction. So inferential statistics use a probability, in other words, that the chance of the event occurring. So let's look at the problem here. So problem says determine whether descriptive or inferential statistics were used. So number 1, based on the sample of the 2,739 respondents, it is estimated that the pet owners spent a total of the $14 billion on the veterinarian care of their pets. So in order to think about that is that what it is. So they also talk about samples of that. And that means that this is people from the population, and then they also estimate it because of the samples. Okay, so that one I want to say inferential. And then number 2, a survey of the 1507 smartphone users showed that the 38% of them purchased insurance at the same time as they purchased their phones. So I don't think they assume or predict. They just survey about that number, and then they find out that the 38% of them purchased the insurance at the same time. So that could be represent the whole population too, right? So but this is more like a describe, okay? As a research you do, okay? So I want to say descriptive. Okay, so that's for the 1.1. Thank you for listening.